The distress signal traveled across the stars. It moved through the darkness of space, reaching every advanced civilization in the galaxy. The message was simple but desperate. This is Elder Vorn of the Zeltari people. Our world is under attack. Our defenses are falling. We are dying. Please, we beg anyone who can hear this, help us. The voice cracked with fear. In the background, explosions could be heard. Screams echoed through the transmission. Then the signal repeated again and again, growing weaker each time. Within hours, the Galactic Council gathered. Representatives from 50 different species filled the Grand Chamber. Holographic images showed the Zeltari homeworld burning. Enemy ships surrounded the planet like hungry predators. The council leader, a tall being from the Zorvok species, spoke first. We have all heard the call. The question is simple. Who will help them? Silence filled the room. Then, one by one, the excuses began. The enemy is too strong, said the Thrillian ambassador. The Zeltari world is too far from our territory, explained the Corvin representative. We cannot risk our people for a lost cause, declared the Mindari leader. More voices joined in, more reasons not to help. The debate lasted 3 hours. When it ended, the decision was clear. No one would go. The Zeltari were alone. Then it is decided, the council leader announced. We will send supplies only. Nothing more. This meeting is over. The representatives began to leave. The matter was settled. The Zeltari would face their fate alone. But then something unexpected happened. A quiet voice spoke from the back of the chamber. Wait. Everyone stopped. They turned to look at the speaker. It was Ambassador James Walker from Earth, the human representative. Most species barely notice humans. They were new to the galaxy. Young, weak, insignificant. James stood up slowly. His hand shook slightly, but his voice was steady. Earth did not receive an invitation to this council vote, he said. But we heard the message too. The council leader looked annoyed. Human, this matter does not concern your species. You lack the military strength to make a difference. James nodded. You are right. We are weak. We are few. Our technology is basic. He paused and looked around the chamber. But we are going anyway. The entire galaxy went silent. What were these humans thinking? The council chamber erupted in noise. Species talked over each other. Some laughed. Some looked confused. The human had just said something impossible. The council leader raised his hand for silence. Ambassador Walker, perhaps you did not understand. The enemy has 200 warships, advanced weapons. They have destroyed entire star systems. What can Earth possibly send? James took a deep breath. We can send 20 ships. That is our entire deep space fleet. Laughter filled the chamber again. Louder this time. 20 ships? The Thrillian ambassador shook his head. That is suicide. You will all die for nothing. Perhaps, James replied calmly. But we will die trying to do the right thing. Can you say the same? The laughter stopped. An uncomfortable silence replaced it. The advanced species looked away. They felt something they had not felt in a long time. Shame. James continued speaking. You all have reasons not to go. Good reasons. Smart reasons. But the Zeltari are dying right now while we debate. Someone must help them. If you will not go, then Earth will go alone. The council leader leaned forward. Why? Why would humans do this? You gain nothing. The Zeltari cannot repay you. You do not even know them. James smiled sadly. That is exactly why we must go. Because they are strangers who need help. Is that not reason enough? No one answered. James turned to leave. Earth's fleet departs in 6 hours. Any species that wishes to join us is welcome. But we will not wait. He walked out of the chamber. The massive doors closed behind him. The council sat in stunned silence. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. 20 ships prepared for departure. Crews said goodbye to their families. Everyone knew the truth. Most would not come back. Captain Sarachin stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the Defiance. Her second officer approached her. Captain, the crew is ready, but they are asking questions. They want to know why we are doing this. Sarah looked out at the stars. Tell them we go because someone has to stand against the darkness. Tell them we go because it is right. Tell them we go because we are human. 6 hours later, Earth's fleet jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, the galaxy watched and wondered, would these brave fools succeed, or would they simply become another tragedy? The answer waited among the burning skies of the Zeltari homeworld. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace near the Zeltari homeworld. What they saw made their blood run cold. The planet's surface glowed with fire. Massive enemy ships circled above like vultures. Smaller fighter craft dove toward the cities below, firing without mercy. Debris from destroyed Zeltari defense stations floated in orbit like scattered bones. "My God," whispered the communications officer. "We are too late." Captain Sarachan gripped her command chair. "No. Life signs show millions still alive down there. We are not too late. We are exactly on time." She opened a channel. "This is Captain Sarachan of Earth to any Zeltari forces. We have come to help. Please respond." Static filled the bridge. Then a weak voice came through, old and tired. "Earth? We do not know this species. Why have you come?" "Because you asked for help," Sarah replied simply. "We are here to fight beside you." A long pause followed. Then the voice spoke again, this time filled with disbelief. "How many ships did you bring?" Sarah hesitated. 20. Another pause. Longer this time. When the voice returned, it sounded broken. "Only 20? Against 200 Kryn warships? You should leave. You cannot save us. Save yourselves." "We did not come here to save ourselves," Sarah said firmly. "We came here to stand with you. Win or lose, you will not face us alone." On the planet's surface, Elder Vorn stared at his communication screen. Tears filled his ancient eyes. His people were dying. The galaxy had abandoned them. But these strangers, these humans, had traveled across the stars to help. "What kind of species does this?" he whispered. His military commander, General Thax, stood beside him. Perhaps a foolish one, or perhaps a brave one. Either way, they deserve our respect. Elder Vorn made a decision. Open a secure channel to the human fleet. Give them our tactical data. Everything we know about the Kryn. If they choose to die for us, at least give them a fighting chance. In space, the Kryn horde detected the human ships. The Kryn commander, Warlord Zek, looked at his displays with amusement. 20 primitive vessels? Are they lost? His second-in-command checked the readings. "No, Commander. They are moving into attack formation." Warlord Zek laughed. "These insects think they can challenge us? Ignore them. They will die quickly enough." But the Kryn did not understand humans yet. They did not know that humans had a saying. It is not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. The humans were about to teach them that lesson. Captain Sarachan studied the tactical display. 200 Kryn warships glowed red on her screen. Her 20 ships looked like tiny dots in comparison. "All ships, this is defiance," she transmitted. "We cannot win a direct fight, so we do not fight direct. We fight smart. We fight dirty. We fight like humans." Her fleet scattered in different directions. The Kryn watched with confusion. "What are they doing?" Warlord Zek demanded. "Why do they not attack?" Then the first trap was sprung. 3 human ships led a group of Kryn vessels into an asteroid field. The Kryn followed confidently. Their shields could handle asteroids. But the humans had planted explosives. Massive asteroids exploded around the Kryn ships. Not enough to destroy them, but enough to blind their sensors. While they were confused, the human ships attacked from behind. 5 Kryn vessels exploded before they knew what happened. Warlord Zek slammed his fist down. "These humans are cowards. They use tricks instead of honor." His second officer replied quietly, "Commander, they are using strategy. They know they cannot match our strength, so they use our confidence against us." The battle continued. Humans use hit-and-run tactics. They fired and disappeared. They led enemies into traps. They turned the battlefield itself into a weapon, but the cost was heavy. A human ship called the Valor took direct hits protecting a Zeltari city. It exploded in a bright flash. 43 crew members died instantly. Then the Hercules fell. Then the Phoenix. 3 human ships destroyed. But they took 30 Kryn vessels with them. On the planet's surface, the Zeltari people watched the battle through their sensors. They saw the humans sacrifice themselves. They saw these strangers die for them. Elder Vorn could not hold back his tears. They are dying for us. Strangers are dying for us. General Thax stood up suddenly. Then we are cowards if we only watch. If they can die for us, we must fight for our own world. Something changed in the Zeltari that day. They stopped being victims. They activated hidden weapons. They launched their remaining fighters. They joined the battle. Human fleet, this is General Thax. The transmission came. You fought for us when no one else would. Now we fight beside you. Together. Captain Sarah smiled through her exhaustion. Welcome to the fight, General. Let us show these Kryn what happens when people refuse to give up. The impossible battle had just become slightly less impossible. The battle changed when the Zeltari joined. Human captains shared their tactics. Zeltari pilots learned to fight in new ways. They stopped following old rules of combat. They started fighting to survive. Captain Sarah coordinated with General Thax. Your fighters are fast. Use that speed. Hit and run. Never stay in one place. Our weapons are weak, Thax replied. Then aim for their engines, not their armor. Make them slow. Make them easy targets for our ships. The strategy worked. Zeltari fighters swarmed like angry insects. They damaged Kryn engines. Then human ships moved in for the kill. Slowly, the numbers began to shift. But across the galaxy, others were watching too. In the council chamber, screens showed the battle. Representatives watched in silence as humans and Zeltari fought together. They saw the sacrifice. They saw the courage. A young ambassador from a Draxian species stood up. This is wrong. We sit here safe while they die fighting. I cannot watch this anymore. My people will send help. The council leader shook his head. Draxian, be reasonable. The decision was made. Then I unmake it, the Draxian declared. My fleet is going to help. Who joins me? Slowly, others stood. First 3 species. Then 5. Then 10. Ships began jumping into the system. Not huge fleets, but enough. Enough to make a difference. Warlord Zek saw new ships arriving on his sensors. His confidence began to crack. What is happening? Why are they coming? His officer checked the data. Commander, multiple species are arriving. Small fleets. They are joining the humans and Zeltari. This is impossible. Zek roared. The council voted not to help. But something had changed in the galaxy. The humans had reminded them of something forgotten. That right matters more than safety. That courage inspires courage. On the Defiance, Sarah's communication officer shouted with joy. Captain, multiple fleets arriving. They came to help. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. All ships, this is Defiance. We are no longer alone. Coordinate with our new allies. Show them how we fight. The tide was turning. The Kryn began to fall back. Warlord Zek calculated the numbers. This was no longer worth it. Too many enemies. Too much resistance. All Kryn ships, he ordered through gritted teeth. Retreat. We leave this curse system. The enemy fleet jumped to hyperspace. The battle was over. Against all odds, they had won. Silence fell over the Zeltari homeworld. The fires still burned, but the shooting had stopped. The enemy was gone. The people had survived. Captain Sarachin sat in her command chair, exhausted. Around her, the bridge crew hugged each other. Some cried. Some laughed. They had survived the impossible. But the victory came with a heavy price. 12 human ships were destroyed. The names scrolled across Sarah's screen. The Valor, the Hercules, the Phoenix, the Liberty. 8 more. Thousands of humans had died far from home. For people they never knew. For a cause that was not theirs. On the planet's surface, Elder Vorn walked through his damaged city. His people lined the streets, looking up at the sky. They knew what happened up there. They knew who saved them. Bring the human captain to me, Vorn ordered. I must thank her personally. When Sarah arrived on the planet, she saw something that broke her heart. The Zelthri were building something in the center of their capital, a massive memorial made of stone. On it, carved carefully, were the names of every human who died, thousands of names. Beneath them, simple words in both Zelthri and human languages. They did not know us, but they came anyway. Elder Vorn approached Sarah, with tears streaming down his face. How do we thank you? What words exist for such sacrifice? Sarah looked at the memorial. You honor them by remembering. You honor them by living. That is enough. It will never be enough, Vorn said quietly, but it is all we can offer. Weeks later, Sarah stood before the Galactic Council one final time. The chamber was silent. No one laughed now. No one looked away. The council leader spoke first. Captain Chun, you were right. We were wrong. You shamed us all. Sarah shook her head. I did not come here for your shame or your praise. I came to ask one question. When the next distress signal comes, who will answer? She looked at each species in turn. Will you calculate the cost? Or will you remember what it means to be truly civilized? No one answered immediately, but slowly, one by one, representatives stood, a silent promise. Sarah smiled. Then something good came from our sacrifice. The universe turned its back once. Let us make sure it never happens again. She walked out of the chamber, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stand beside someone when everyone else walks away. That is the human way. 5 years passed since the Battle of Zeltari. The galaxy was different now. Species talked differently. They acted differently. The council chamber had a new symbol hanging on its wall. A simple image of 20 ships flying toward danger. Beneath it, words that every species now knew by heart. Someone has to. Captain Sarah Chun was no longer just a captain. She was now Admiral Chun, commander of Earth's expanded fleet. But more than that, she had become a symbol, a reminder of what courage looked like. On the Zelthari homeworld, the memorial had grown. Not just names anymore, but a garden, a place of peace. Every year, thousands visited. They touched the names carved in stone. They remembered. Elder Vorn, now much older, walked through the garden with his granddaughter. She was only 3 years old during the battle. She did not remember the fear, but she knew the stories. Grandfather, tell me again about the humans, she asked. Vorn smiled. They came when no one else would. They fought when everyone said they should run. They taught us that being strong is not about having the biggest weapons. It is about having the biggest heart. The little girl looked up at the memorial. Will they come again if we need help? Yes, Vorn said with certainty. But more importantly, now we would go if they needed help. That is what they taught us. Across the galaxy, something remarkable happened. Species began forming mutual defense pacts. Not because of fear, not because of profit, but because the humans had reminded them of an old truth. We are stronger together. When the Draxian homeworld faced a natural disaster, 15 species arrived to help within days. When the Corvin people suffered plague, medical ships came from across the galaxy. The question was no longer what do we gain, but who needs help? The human way had spread like a quiet fire. Admiral Sarah Chun received a message one day. It was from the Galactic Council. They had created something new, the Alliance of United Species, a group dedicated to helping any civilization in need. They asked her to lead it. Sarah stood on the bridge of the Defiance, looking at the stars. She thought about the crew members who died 5 years ago. She wondered if they knew what their sacrifice created. Captain, her officer asked, what is your response? Sarah smiled. Tell them yes. Tell them humanity accepts. Not because we want power, but because someone has to lead by example. She looked at the memorial garden on her screen, at the names carved in stone. And tell them we do this in honor of those who showed us all what it means to be human. The officer nodded and left. Sarah remained alone with her thoughts. The universe had turned its back once, but humanity answered the call. And in doing so, they changed everything. Not with the biggest weapons, not with the strongest fleets, but with something far more powerful: compassion, courage, and the simple belief that doing the right thing matters more than doing the easy thing. 5 years ago, 20 ships jumped into the darkness. Today, the entire galaxy stood ready to jump together. That was the legacy. That was the victory. That was humanity's gift to the stars. 10 years after the Battle of Zeltari, the galaxy faced a new crisis. A distress signal came from an unexpected source. The Kryn Horde, the same species that attacked the Zeltari, the same enemy that humanity fought against. Their message was desperate. Our homeworld is dying. A star is collapsing near our system. We have nowhere to go. We ask for help. Please. The Alliance of United Species gathered immediately. The chamber filled with angry voices. They showed no mercy to the Zeltari. Someone shouted. Why should we show mercy to them? They are warriors who destroy worlds. Another added. Let them face their fate alone. Admiral Sarah Chen sat quietly, listening. She was older now. Gray hair touched her temples, but her eyes still held the same determination. The council leader turned to her. Admiral Chen, you lead the Alliance. What is your decision? The chamber went silent. Everyone waited. Sarah stood slowly. 10 years ago, we asked the galaxy a question. When the next distress signal comes, who will answer? We all promised we would. But they are the enemy, a voice protested. Sarah nodded. Yes, they were our enemy. They killed our people. They destroyed Zeltari cities. I have every reason to hate them. She paused and looked around the chamber. But if we only help those we like, then we learn nothing. The test of compassion is not helping friends. It is helping those who do not deserve it. Shock filled the room. Species looked at each other with confusion. Are you saying we should save them? The Thrillian ambassador asked. I am saying we must decide who we want to be, Sarah replied. Do we want to be the galaxy that helps only when it is easy? Or do we want to be better than that? Elder Vorn stood up from the Zeltari delegation. Everyone turned to look at him. If anyone had the right to refuse, it was him. His people suffered the most from Kryn attacks. My people have discussed this, Vorn said slowly. We remember the pain they caused us. We remember the lives they took. But we also remember what humanity taught us. He looked directly at Sarah. We remember that someone came for us when we did not deserve it either. We had done nothing for humanity. We were strangers, yet they came. Vorn's voice grew stronger. If the Zeltari vote to abandon the Kryn, then we become no better than those who abandoned us. We will help them. Gasps filled the chamber, the victims choosing to save their attackers. One by one, other species stood, some reluctantly, some with tears in their eyes. But they stood. The council leader looked at the votes. It is decided. The Alliance will evacuate the Kryn homeworld. Sarah activated her communicator. All Alliance ships prepare for evacuation mission. We move in 3 hours. Her second officer approached privately. Admiral, are you sure? The Kryn may not even be grateful. Sarah smiled sadly. That does not matter. We do not help people because they will thank us. We help them because it is right. That is what makes us different from the darkness. The fleet assembled. Hundreds of ships from dozens of species. They jumped to the Kryn homeworld together. When they arrived, the Kryn could not believe it. Their old enemies had come to save them. Warlord Zek, older and humbled, contacted Sarah directly. His voice shook with emotion. Why? After what we did to you, why you help us? Sarah looked at him through the screen. Because someone taught me that compassion is not weakness. It is the strongest thing in the universe. Today, we teach you the same lesson. The evacuation took 3 weeks. Every Kryn citizen was saved, moved to new worlds, given a chance to start again. On the last day, Warlord Zek knelt before Admiral Chen. We do not deserve this mercy. No one deserves mercy, Sarah replied gently. That is why it is called mercy. Use this gift wisely. Become better than you were. Years later, the Kryn became members of the Alliance. Former warriors became peacekeepers. They devoted themselves to protecting others, remembering the day their enemies became their saviors. Admiral Saracen retired at age 70. She returned to Earth, to a small house by the ocean, but her legacy lived forever. The galaxy had learned the greatest lesson humanity could teach. True strength is not defeating your enemies. True strength is turning your enemies into friends. Compassion is not ignoring justice. Compassion is choosing hope over vengeance. And the measure of a civilization is not how it treats the deserving, but how it treats the undeserving. The universe turned its back once. Humanity answered the call. And then, humanity taught the stars to answer every call, even the ones that hurt. That was the final test. And the galaxy passed.